Picture this. I'm staring at my screen at 2 a.m., watching my account balance flash red. Again, for the third time that month, I'd blown up everything I'd built. My hands were shaking not from the caffeine, but from the crushing realization that maybe, maybe I just wasn't cut out for this. That was year 4 of my trading journey. 4 years of thinking I knew what I was doing. 4 years of making the same devastating mistakes over and over again. But here's what I didn't know then. That moment of complete despair, it was exactly where I needed to be. Because sometimes you have to lose everything to finally understand what you've been doing wrong. Today, after 12 years in the markets, I want to share the 7 brutal truths that transformed me from a consistent loser into a consistently profitable trader. And I promise you, if you're struggling right now, if you feel like giving up, this video could be the turning point you've been searching for. But first, let me take you back to where it all went wrong. The foundation crisis, I thought I had it all figured out. Support and resistance lines, chart patterns, moving averages. I knew them all. I was drawing lines like Picasso, spotting double bottoms and head and shoulders patterns everywhere I looked, and yet I kept losing money. The first brutal truth hit me like a freight train. I had no foundation. See, I was treating the market like a video game. Press this button when you see this pattern, make money, repeat. But the market isn't a video game. It's a living, breathing ecosystem driven by human psychology, economic forces, and events that shake the very core of global finance. I remember one particular trade that changed everything. I saw what looked like a perfect double bottom pattern on a stock I'd been watching. Textbook setup, right? I went all in convinced this was my big break. The stock immediately tanked. As I watched my position hemorrhage money, I started asking myself the questions I should have asked before entering. Why did that second bottom form? What was the story behind it? Were buyers stepping in with conviction, or were sellers just taking a breather? What was happening in the broader market? Was there news I'd missed? The foundation isn't just about knowing what FOMC means or when CPI data comes out. Though if you don't know these things, we need to talk. It's about understanding the why behind every movement you see. It's about developing what I call market intuition, the ability to read the story the market is telling you. When I started asking why, after every trade, win or lose, everything began to change. Why did this stock break through resistance? Why did that support level hold? What was the context? What was the story? Context became my new obsession, and it should be yours too. The control paradox. I used to enter trades with this desperate need to be right. It wasn't about making money anymore. It was about validation. I needed the market to tell me I was smart, that I belonged here, that I wasn't just another amateur throwing money away. So I'd enter a position and immediately start willing it to go in my favor. Literally. I'd sit there staring at the screen as if my sheer mental focus could move the stock price. When it went against me, I'd hold on longer than I should have, adding to losing positions, convinced that if I just believed hard enough, the market would turn around. I was trying to control the outcome of every single trade. But here's what changed my entire career. I made a list. 2 columns. Things I can control, things I can't control. Things I can control. How much I risk on each trade, where I place my stop loss, which trades I take, my position size, my entry and exit criteria, how much I study and prepare. Things I can't control, whether any individual trade makes money, market direction, news events, other traders' actions, economic data releases. The moment I truly internalized this, not just intellectually, but emotionally, everything shifted. I stopped caring about being right and started caring about following my process. I stopped trying to predict the future and started managing the present. Now, when I enter a trade, I'm not thinking about how much money I'll make if it hits my target. I'm thinking, am I comfortable losing what I'm risking? Does this fit my criteria? Have I sized this appropriately for my account? That shift from outcome-focused to process-focused thinking eliminated my hesitation. You know why traders hesitate? Because they're scared of the outcome. But when you truly accept that you can't control the outcome, when you really let go, execution becomes mechanical, effortless. The data revolution. The third truth hit me during one of my worst losing streaks. I just had another brutal week, and my mentor asked me a simple question. "Well, what was your plan on Tuesday?" I stared at him blankly. Tuesday? What happened on Tuesday? I honestly couldn't remember. That's when he delivered the knockout punch. How can you improve something you don't even track? Truth number 3, if you're not tracking everything, you're flying blind. I started treating trading like the business it actually is. Every single day, I began writing detailed pre-market plans. Not just, I think the market will go up today, real plans. What am I watching? Why am I watching it? What scenarios am I prepared for? What happened yesterday that might affect today? But here's the part most traders miss. I also started tracking my emotional state. I'm feeling FOMO today because I missed that breakout yesterday. I'm overconfident because I had 3 wins in a row. I'm scared to take trades because I'm in a drawdown. Writing it down made it real, and once it was real, I could manage it. Then came the post-market analysis. This is where the magic happens. I'd go through every single trade and ask, did this align with my plan? If not, why not? What was I thinking? What was I feeling? What can I learn from this? Even now, 12 years later, I can tell you exactly what I traded on any given day, what my plan was, and how it turned out. Most traders can't tell you what they traded last week. The data revealed patterns I never would have seen otherwise. I discovered I had a tendency to chase momentum after missing a good trade. I found out I made my best trades in the first hour and my worst trades after lunch. I learned that I traded poorly when I hadn't gotten enough sleep. This isn't just record keeping, it's self-discovery. The market will teach you everything you need to know about yourself, but only if you're listening. The setup mastery journey. Truth number 4 nearly broke me before it made me. Master 1 or 2 setups completely before moving on to anything else. I used to be a setup collector. Breakouts, reversals, momentum plays, mean reversion. If someone made money with it, I wanted to learn it. I had notebooks full of different strategies, my screens covered with indicators I barely understood. I was the trading equivalent of someone trying to learn 10 languages at once. The breakthrough came when I stripped everything away and focused on just one setup. A morning breakout pattern I called my opening range play. I studied it obsessively. I backtested it. I paper traded it until I was dreaming about it. But here's what nobody tells you about mastering a setup. It's not about memorizing the entry and exit rules. It's about understanding the psychology behind why it works, recognizing the market conditions where it thrives, and developing the intuition to know when something's different. I spent months learning to feel the difference between a breakout driven by genuine buying pressure and one driven by short covering. I learned to distinguish between volume that suggested institutional interest and volume that was just noise. Most importantly, I learned that even a perfect setup fails sometimes, and that's okay. The goal isn't to be right every time, it's to execute your edge consistently over hundreds of trades. I remember the day it finally clicked. I was watching my setup develop and I could feel, not think, but feel that something was off. The volume pattern was wrong, the broader market context didn't support it. I passed on the trade and sure enough, it failed miserably. That's when I knew I'd truly mastered it. When you can recognize when not to take your setup, you've graduated from rule follower to trader. Here's truth number 5, and it's the one that separates profitable traders from everyone else. You must become a professional loser. I know how that sounds, but hear me out. The best traders I know, the ones making serious money year after year, they lose money almost every single day, but they're incredibly good at it. I used to take a loss and spiral into self-doubt. Why was I wrong? How could I have missed that? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Sound familiar? Now, when I lose money, my first thought is, did I follow my process? If the answer is yes, I'm actually happy about the loss, because I did everything right and the market simply went the other way. That's not a failure, that's trading. The market taught me something profound. Your relationship with losing determines your relationship with winning. When you're afraid to be wrong, you hold on to losing positions too long. You don't take your stops. You add to losers hoping they'll turn into winners. You avoid taking good setups because you can't bear the thought of another loss. But when you embrace being wrong, when you actually get excited about taking a well-planned loss, because it means you're executing your process perfectly, everything changes. I started celebrating my losses. Sounds crazy, right? But when I took a trade that fit all my criteria, sized it properly, placed my stop where it should be, and got stopped out, that was a victory because I did everything a professional trader does. The losses that hurt are the ones where you break your rules. Those are the losses you should fear, not the ones where you do everything right and the market just doesn't cooperate. Risk management isn't about avoiding losses. It's about making sure your losses are controlled, planned, and affordable. The survival strategy. Truth number 6 changed how I view my entire career. Your only job in the first 2 years is to survive, not to get rich, not to prove you're the next great trader, just to survive. I wish someone had told me this in year 1. I was so focused on making money that I ignored the most important metric of all, staying in the game. Think about it. If you can trade for 2 years without blowing up your account, without taking catastrophic losses, without getting so discouraged that you quit, you'll automatically be better than 90% of traders, because most don't make it past year 1. During my survival phase, I treated every day like a training session. Small position sizes, focus on process over profits, constant learning and adaptation. Some days I'd make $50, some days I'd lose $30, but I was building something more valuable than money experience. The market will test you. It will give you winning streaks that make you overconfident and losing streaks that make you question everything. It will present you with setups that look perfect but fail spectacularly. It will teach you humility in the most expensive ways possible. But if you can survive these lessons without destroying your account, something beautiful happens. The patterns start making sense. The noise begins to separate from the signal. Your intuition sharpens. I tell new traders, your goal for year 1 isn't to make money. It's to lose money slowly enough that you can learn from every mistake. Year 2, you focus on consistency. Year 3, you can start thinking about profits. This long-term thinking is what separates career traders from gamblers. The long game philosophy. Which brings me to truth number 7, the one that saved my career. Trading is a 10-year game, not a 10-day game. I used to trade like I had a month to live. Every day was do or die. Every trade had to be the one that changed everything. The pressure was suffocating. But what if I told you that your results this week don't matter? What if your P&L this month is irrelevant? What if the only thing that matters is whether you'll still be trading profitably? In 2034, this shift in perspective was liberating. Suddenly, missing a good trade wasn't devastating. It was just Tuesday. There would be thousands more opportunities over the next decade. Taking a loss wasn't failure. It was tuition in the world's most expensive school. When you trade for the long game, your entire approach changes. You stop chasing quick wins and start building sustainable systems. You stop risking too much because you know consistency beats home runs. You stop quitting during rough patches because you understand they're part of the journey. I didn't become consistently profitable until year 5. 5 years? And I'm one of the lucky ones who stuck with it. Most traders give up after their first few losing months. The market rewards patience like nothing else, but it punishes impatience with swift, merciless precision. The real goal. Here's the final shift that transformed everything. Stop trying to make money. Start trying to become a good trader. I know. You got into trading to make money. We all did. But here's the paradox. The harder you chase money, the more elusive it becomes. When I stopped setting profit targets and started setting process goals, everything changed. Instead of, I want to make $5,000 this month, I focused on, I want to improve my win rate by 5%, or I want to reduce my average loss by 10%. These process goals are within your control. Profit goals aren't. The money follows good trading. It never works the other way around. The transformation. So here I am, 12 years later, and I want you to know something. That trader who was shaking at his computer at 2 a.m., convinced he'd never make it, he was right where he needed to be. The market didn't just teach me how to trade, it taught me patience, discipline, emotional control, and resilience. It forced me to confront my weaknesses and develop strengths I never knew I had. You might be in that dark place right now. You might feel like giving up, but I'm here to tell you, if you can implement these 7 truths, if you can commit to the long game, if you can learn to love the process more than the profits, you have everything you need to succeed. The market is waiting for you, not to take your money, but to teach you. The question is, are you ready to learn? Your transformation starts now.